Starting a business in your 20s or 30s, especially in the world of AI and social media, can seem very scary and very confusing because you got a million people telling you what you should do and a million other people telling you what you should not do. Which is why in this video, I'm going to show you the path I took and why I'm still sticking on this path. And maybe it could be a path that you could also walk on with me as well. At the end of the video, I will share a secret as to why so many people end up failing in business. And if you cannot stick to the end of this video, I'm sorry to say, but you should probably maybe stick to a 9-to-5 job. So you might be thinking, why should I listen to this guy? He's not doing 1 million subscribers on YouTube. He's not making $1 billion in revenue every year. Why should I listen to him? Well, let me just tell you that I'm someone who might be in the exact same position and boat as you. So we are on the same path, on the same journey, which is why I'm confident enough to tell you that it is very, very difficult to be on this road that you're on. And I will show you the actual grind, the hustle, how hard it is, so you can see for yourself if this is something that you should be doing or if you should take a different path. So I think this is much more beneficial to you than you watching interviews of Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, because those guys are far out of your reach. You need to be able to start from the bottom where you can then work your way up. And this is the best way you can, by actually seeing the grind and applying it into your own business. Let me give you a bit of background lore about me. My name is Michaelangelo. I'm 22 years old. And 1, I don't have a degree because I didn't go to university because I couldn't afford it. 2, I'm currently an immigrant to the UK, which means that I'm not even a citizen. I'm not permanent. I could be kicked out at any time. 3, I don't come from wealth, so my family isn't rich. We're just struggling to get by and make ends meet. And 4, I do have a day job as a supply teacher, but nothing too fancy. I'm not really earning that much, honestly. But fortunately, I'm not that broke. I'm not even on the street. I have a roof on my head. I have clothes on my back. So I thank God, honestly. But that's just to show you that I'm not really in the best position, but I'm still going after it. So if you think for yourself that, oh, I can't do this because I'm broke, or I can't do this because I'm this or I'm that, honestly, all of those are just excuses. If you really want this, and I mean if you really, really want this, you will need to do everything possible, get every resources you can to develop yourself to be the best possible person to get to that level. Because for myself, with no degree, I have to learn all my skills literally from Udemy and YouTube. So I'm trying to get all the resources I can to learn what I can, to advance and to level up my skills and intellectual property, which is what you need to do for yourself. So there are no excuses. You just have to get after it. So what is my business? So I'm actually starting a tech/automation company, and I'm trying to help out small business owners that may be struggling with manual admin work or tasks like posting on LinkedIn, or sorting their emails, or getting email summaries, or just anything in general that just takes a lot of time for them to accomplish. So I try to automate that out their way so they can spend that time with your family or spend it on more important parts of their business. For me, my main aim and goal right now is to build relationships and trust. So I try to help people to get a lot of work off their backs and a lot of work off their actual workload so they can have the time to do other things, which is why I offer a website build. I also offer some automated systems to help them carry those out. And I also have a special delivery package that helps cleaning businesses and companies to sort out any inquiries that come to them. It's so crazy how a lot of companies rely on certain things, but they do not put 100% of their attention on those things or trying to even make it better. You'll be surprised. So when you want to start a business, I would suggest that you actually do something that you think would be viable and that people actually need. That's the first thing I did. I went out to find an idea on what could I do that is actually genuinely useful for people and that they will actually need. Do not just start building a product without actually confirming or validating it yet. That's the first thing you need to do. You have to make sure that you validate your idea. If you make an amazing idea, it could be $1 billion idea, but if no one wants it, trust me, you're going to make nothing from the idea. So that's the first thing you need to do. Figure out what set of skills do you have that can provide something that people actually need. If you're not sure on how to do that, I would suggest when you get your brilliant idea, call people, send emails, go on Reddit or Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever, and try to ask people, what do they think about this? Do they need this? Do they have an issue with this? Is this problem a pain point for them? Because there's a quote I heard from, I can't remember the person's name, but they mentioned something that was very, 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 very important in starting a business. And that is, you want to solve a problem that is an aspirin and not a vitamin. What that means is your product needs to be something that actually eases and relieves people's pain, not something that they can just take whenever they want it. It has to be an actual pain solver, not a nice to have. So that's why for mine, I know a lot of people do a lot of manual tasks that spend hours to do, and they don't know what the best way to carry that out is, which is why my own business is helping them to alleviate themselves from those workload. So if you are someone who does need help with automating any admin task or trying to post 3 times a week on LinkedIn, you can reach out to me and I can help you get set up. Right now, I'm doing it free of charge because I want to actually genuinely help people. What is most important that you get an idea and validate it before you actually start building it. Do not build it until you validate that idea. What you can build is an MVP that you can use to show people for demos and stuff like that, but highly advise that you keep it to the barest minimum. Don't build too many new features without actually finding out if this is going to be actually useful for people to actually use or want to buy. So that's the very first and most important thing you should do when starting your business. Now, in terms of the legal part of it, for me, since mine is more of a tech company, I haven't really done a lot in terms of making it more legalized because it's just me, so I'm a sole trader. I don't really have to set anything up on company house or do any documentation or nothing yet. What I just did primarily was to buy a domain where I can host my website. I built a website for myself. Again, if you need that built for you, let me know. I also build websites. So I built a website for myself, and I also reached out to people through cold calling or actually talking face to face. Now, luckily for me, I've been able to build up the skills to cold call through cold calling actual people. So I've actually made over 400 cold calls in the past 2 to 3 months, which is actually insane for me anyway, because I do have a day job where I'm actually teaching. So I don't really have that much time to make those calls, but I tried my best to get to an amount of cold calls. So what I did was I scraped the leads using a platform called Outscraper. So it got me a list of companies with their phone numbers, email addresses, etc., websites. So I just called them and asked them if this is something they're having a problem with, they're struggling with, and then I try to generate conversations from there. So that's something that you want to do. If you're not into really tech or website building or things like that, you might need a lot more documentation when it comes to actually providing a legal structure for your business. I would advise you actually going to someone who has an idea on that. But for me, I don't really do that much into the legal side of it because I don't really need to right now. All I needed was the domain. I was just set up the domain, build my website, and I've been coasting on that so far, so good. I use my own personal number for my business, but I also bought a new number for business as well. And honestly, I don't really think you shouldn't really do much in terms of actually setting up a legal part of it if you're just starting out. The reason is if you spend all that money on that, you might end up having an idea that doesn't even actually work. So all that will be for nothing. So I advise you to just start off with the things you can do that don't require money, like getting leads or calling people or sending emails or making posts on Reddit or Facebook or wherever your target audience lives in, and just start from there. You do not have to spend money to start a business. Yes, you may spend a little bit. Like for me, I spent a little bit just for the outreach, for the leads, but it wasn't anything significant. And I don't think you should go into a business trying to just spend all the money you have. Unless you do something that requires it, like if you do a cleaning business or restaurants, but you have to buy buildings or pay leases and stuff like that. But if you're doing a genuinely tech business where you're just starting out from an app or website, also don't really cost money. Yes, you pay for a domain, but it's not really that much if you have an actual domain that's not being used. Like for mine, I think I paid, I want to say less than £10 a year for my domain. So again, it's not really that expensive. I did pay for the actual NA10 platform to host it on the domain, which is like 100 and something for a year, something like that. But yeah, yes, you will pay some money, but what I'm saying is don't end up spending thousands just to get your business up and running. Do what you can that you can do for free, and then once as you go in, you might end up trying to spend money on more things. But you need to tell yourself, do I need to spend money on this thing right now? Can I do something else before trying to spend this money to see if I should be spending it or not? So I think when you're very money conscious, you really have to make a decision of whether you should go for the free resource route or spending money to fast track it if you really have the money to spend for it. That's only if you do. Now, you may have heard this phrase 1,000 times in 1,000 videos, but is actually really true that no one is coming to save you. You have to do what you can with the resources that you have available to yourself. No one's going to come down and say, oh, Michael, I'm here to give you £1 billion, use that and live your life. No one's going to do that. So you have to be willing to sacrifice everything to get to where you want to be. Which is why, even for me, I don't really have a safety net. Yes, I do live with my parents, so we are sharing a house. I'm paying part of the rent. I'm paying part of the bills for the house, this and that. However, that's it. There is no secret fund. There's no trust fund in my name. There is literally nothing. So everything I need to do now, I have to build for myself from the ground up. And you need to get into that mindset of no one is coming to save you. And I need to do this as best as I can. Because what you should not end up doing is giving up. Because the moment you give up is the moment you lose. And that's why a lot of people actually fail in business, because they end up starting and they give up and they just go to doing something else. If you want to do something, you have to stick to it for a long time. A lot of businesses do not even make any money until the third or fourth or fifth year. You have to understand that. Even in my space, in the AI technology space, a lot of them don't make money until 3 years after. Most of them don't make a single pound until 5 years after. So you have to be ready for the long game, which is why I would advise you, please do not quit your job because you're trying to start a business. That is one of the most stupid decisions you can ever make. Do not do that. You want to have something to sustain yourself. If you're bootstrapping, you need to have something to sustain yourself and your business, which means you need to have a job that you can work on the side and do your business as a side hustle. Do not quit your job for your business if your business is not making any money. Now, if you are generating an income or revenue that is equal to the salary you're getting right now or more than that, then yeah, go ahead. But do not quit your job because you're trying to start a business. That will never be successful in any facet. So please don't do it. Because even while I'm doing my business right now, like I said, I still have a day job that I am doing on a day-to-day. So you should have something that you can use to support yourself and your business, because you do not want to go broke while you're trying to start off your business from the ground up. Now, in case you're wondering, where am I actually going with all of this? What is my actual plan for my business? Well, for my business, I plan right now, my short-term goal is to get 3 paid installs for my system. So to get 3 people that I can actually get to pay for my systems to be used. So that's my short-term goal. My long-term goal is to turn my system into a SaaS. So a software that can then automatically set up all these things for the client, without them having to actually me building it out for them every single time. So that's the long-term goal for my business. So I'm building it up step by step. Fortunately for me, I have got a paid client for a website. It was like £150, but that's still money that gets to my account. So I have gotten paid for a service that I have offered, which is a start to something I think would be really good for me. But it took a while to get there. Like I started in February and I got this done in April, May. So about 3 months. Now, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people, again, don't see any money in the first year. doesn't mean you should give up. Okay? You should not give up. So I said I was going to give you a series as to why many people fail. The reason why many people fail in business is that they give up way too early. Or they just keep switching business plans or ideas or whatever. What that means is, let's say, for example, if your business is to build an app that solves X problem, you do that for 4 to 5 to 6 months, you're seeing no traction, you're seeing nothing to show for your efforts. You then think, you know what? I don't think maybe I should do this, maybe I should do something else. I should create a business that solves Y. What you don't realize is the moment you switch from X to Y, you're starting again from zero. You are not starting from month 7, you're starting from month 0 because there's now a new business and a new plan that you have to start all over again to create for. You do gain experience from the 6 months you had for the first business, which could help in the second start. However, you need to be aware that you will end up with months where you're not really achieving anything and it looks like you're not getting any reward from what you're doing. But you have to stick with it. You only lose if you give up. Yes, people will tell you, oh, this idea is stupid. It's not going to make money. They're going to try to bring you down. But they're only right the moment you give up. Because once you give up and you have none to show for it, then you have proven to them that they are right, that you were doing something stupid. But if you keep going, they can't tell you you're wrong because you're still doing it. You're still trying it. It's not like you've given up, you have stopped doing it, and then you've seen 0 results. It's like in a video game. If you play the game, if you don't quit the game or you don't turn off the television, the last loss you have is not really a loss because you still have a chance to win. The moment you give up, you have 0 chance to win. That's the thing. So you have to keep doing it for as long as you can and just keep building skills. If you're in your 20s, it is very, very important that you learn to build skills. That's what I'm doing. Right now, for me, it's not really about making money. It's about building the skills to make me a much more valuable person. That's why I'm literally sat here talking to a camera, trying to make a video. Because I'm trying to build the skill of communicating and actually creating content. If you cannot have the mindset to build skills, you will not succeed in any way. Might as well just go put fries in the bag at McDonald's. So you have to be able to humble yourself, give the time, give the energy to try and build skills to make you a truly much more valuable person. Because you may think it's about who you know. Yeah, who you know is important, but what you know is much more important. Because those you want to know you will not care about you unless you have something that you can offer to them that is valuable. So you have to build those skills to be a much more valuable person. So that when you want to get to the people that you want to meet, the network that you want to build, you have something that you can offer them to create that circle for yourself. So you have to be someone who doesn't give up and someone who builds the skills necessary to get to your destination. So that's all you need to know for now about how I have started my business. If you have any questions or you want to actually know some nitty-gritty parts of it or certain details about how I started the business, like what I did, what I'm currently doing, you can drop a comment and I'll reply to it. If you could even connect, I'll leave my actual website into the description so you can go to the website and book a call with me so we can then discuss about how we can move going forward. Because honestly, I would love to have people or community of people where we can discuss about business, about entrepreneurship. If there's a way we can collaborate, we can make videos together, we can plan skill sessions, stuff like that. That'll be really dope. I'd love to do it. So I'll drop my website in the comments and you can or comments or description, and you can click the website, book a call with me, and let's discuss something further. If you need a system to help you to automate any task, like let's say it's admin work or sending emails or drafting emails or scheduling posts or just anything that you think takes you a lot of time that you wish could be done automatically, I'll again use the link in the description and book a call with me so we can discuss how we can help you get that going along further. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for sticking around. And I really hope that you do end up continuing your business or starting your business and you do not give up. Again, do not give up. So I'll see you on the other side and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Signing off.